Welcome to today's pre-certification training call. I'm Amanda Flake. I'm a certified health coach and a global director on the Smithson team. And I am being joined by my sister-in-law. She is a certified health coach. Her name is Sarah Flake, and she is a national director on the Smithson team. So today we're going to talk about chapters 8 and 9 in Discover Your Optimal Health and discuss a few of those principles. The first thing that we're going to talk about is just how all the little choices in your life add up. And if you think about it, any given choice that you make in a day probably isn't going to affect your long-term health one way or another if it's just that one choice and you don't recognize it right off. So just think of eating like a big juicy hamburger or cheeseburger and fries or something like that. And for most people, they don't feel really sick right afterwards. They don't go home and they're not just like wiped out for the rest of the day, or they don't get diabetes from eating one, sugary meal or something. But it's just making those same choices every day over weeks and months that really adds up. And so what we as health coaches like to do is to teach people to consciously make decisions that are going to take them on a better path, to teach them that making those little decisions in a healthy way, those add up a lot too. And they will take you off of that path of disease, and they will take you to a path of health for the rest of your life. So that's what we want to concentrate on, is teaching people those little tiny things. Sarah, do you want to talk about some of the choices that we make?
Yeah, so a lot of people in our society, just because time's at a premium, they're all about instant gratification. You flip a light switch, and if the light doesn't come on immediately, there's like that 2-second delay, you get frustrated. Oh, these dumb bulbs. Or, you go to a drive-through, and heaven forbid, there's a couple cars in front of you, and you have to wait. We really want fast results with everything we do. And that's actually one really great thing about our program, is that we can deliver fast results on the scale, but it's also important for us as coaches that we teach our clients how to appreciate these non-immediate results as well. So our biggest responsibility as a coach is really to help them understand the little choices they can make, that they're not going to see the results right away, like creating healthy sleep, healthy support systems, stress control. So how do we do that in our fast-paced society of instant gratification?
Well, in Dr. A's book, Discover Your Optimal Health, he actually has a checklist of things that you can go through. And I think it's really great to go through that list, even once a week or, a couple of times a month or something, and just kind of see where you are and what kind of choices you're making. And it gives a lot of suggestions, and right away you can notice things that you either need to do more of or do less of. But some of the things that he recommends kind of keeping in our mind for the rest of our lives, the little healthy habits that will add up. Some of them are eating breakfast every morning, having small healthy meals throughout the day, eating fish 3 times a week. Every time I do this test, I'm always like, oh, I gotta eat more fish. Like, that's something that is not easy for me. But I went from being absolutely no seafood at all to really enjoying things like salmon and shrimp now. So I'm making some progress on that. Maybe spending time to meditate, having a regular routine, and lots of other little things like that. But making conscious decisions to do those things and avoiding the things that we shouldn't do, they really help us to keep on that trajectory for optimal health. Just these little things like choosing a healthy lunch over fast food or taking the stairs over the elevator, all of those things add up. So we're going to switch gears a little bit and talk about this same concept and how it applies to your business. Sarah, do you want to talk about those little choices in your business?
Yeah, sometimes new coaches, they get their coach kit and they're like, okay, I've got my kit. Where's my $1 million business? And it's the same principle with this Take Shape for Life business. Every day, you're going to have to make little choices about where you're going to spend your time. And some people probably, when they get that coach kit and they're ready to start helping people, wonder, how am I going to fit this in? And really, it's just making little adjustments here and there to figure out how to structure your time to fit in a few minutes so that you can start doing little things that over time are going to create a very interesting business. Both Amanda and I have a coach, Chantel, who got her coach kit, and she, 3 years later, she's got the largest businesses in the company. But compared to almost all the other coaches I know, she had a very slow start, but she was very consistent. A little time here and there around her 4 kids and these kids she had at home. of just doing consistent action steps. And so really being a successful health coach does not happen overnight. For most people, you really have to consciously choose to just do small, consistent action steps. And over the months and years, it's going to add up. And so just learning as a coach to have that patience with yourself and your business and having consistency.
Yeah, it's such an important principle, because if you think about it, when you want to get healthy, let's say that you eat a salad for lunch for 3 days and you've gone jogging for 3 days, and for some reason something didn't happen on the scale. And so you just feel like throwing up your hands and quitting healthy eating altogether. But we know, especially as coaches, we know that it's more of a long-term plan that we need. It's just doing the right things over the course of weeks and months and years. And just like going on the 5 and 1 is a little bit of an adjustment, you're going to find that you might have to make some little adjustments, things that you have to get used to in your life. So if you jump in and take off super fast, great. And if it takes you a little time to rearrange your time in your day and your schedule and your family schedule, that's okay too. One of the things that we're going to talk about is that these little things that we do every day, a lot of them are planting seeds. And if you think about it, how long does it take a seed to grow into a plant? There are a lot of different plants that you could talk about. There are some like radishes that you plant them in within a couple of weeks. You see things popping up and pretty soon they're ready to eat. And there are others that take 2 or 3 months, sometimes even longer than that. And so we really want to teach people to plant seeds and to be a farmer, not a hunter. So think about what a hunter does. A hunter, it kind of zooms in on its prey. It knows exactly what it wants and it is going to get it. And if it doesn't make the kill, then that hunter is really pretty sad. Like, it's a big letdown that the hunter didn't get whatever it was shooting for. And we don't want to do that. And one example of doing that would be when you become a coach, that all of a sudden you see all of your friends that are unhealthy, or even people in your family, and you want to do this just for your mom. And if your mom wants to come on program, or your friends who are unhealthy, that's great. But we don't want to zero in on any one person and then be really disappointed if they choose not to come along with us. A lot of times people, they need a little bit of time to rearrange their own way of thinking and to come on their own and decide that they want to get healthy. And so what we want to do is plant seeds and let them sprout whenever they are ready. And then we're there, if we're consistent in our action steps in planting seeds and harvesting, that people will come to us when we're ready. Sarah, do you want to talk about some of these daily action steps for long-term success? Some of the seed planting things and other things we can do every day?
Yeah, and the thing I love about all these action steps is they're so simple and they don't take very much time. I would say the number one thing you can do as a coach if you want to have an effective business is take advantage of the weekly training calls. They're free. They last about 20, 30 minutes, and they cover all the basics. You're going to get tons of amazing ideas, and it's going to keep you inspired. So that's just one thing. It takes 20 to 30 minutes a week, and the coaches who are on these calls have great growing businesses. Then using Facebook and social networking, talk to your mentor, and come up with really easy, non-pushy ways of just having people in your world know that you're doing this, so that when they're ready, they know who to contact. That's a really great tool that we can use to just help spread the word about what we're doing. Then once you do have people that are interested, your mentor is going to teach you how to follow up with them, how to keep them connected, so that when we've got challenges or you've got specials going on, those people can know about it. And again, they're not feeling pushed upon or anything. They're excited for you, but we keep connected with those people either by the newsletters, or for people that we specifically have already explained the program to, setting follow-up times, addressing their concerns, and waiting for them to tell you that they're ready. So it's really important to follow up. And then that interested script, by the way, it's always done over the phone. Our follow-up is over the phone. This is a relationship business. So learning, the questions to ask, what are your concerns? What is stopping you from starting right now? When can I call and follow up? And just letting them know that even though they maybe aren't confident right now to get going, you're confident and you're there. You're not dropping the ball on them, and you have hope in them. That's a really important factor. Another really helpful thing for me, and I know a lot of other coaches, is plugging into the free, amazing mentorship. You have a qualified coach, a business coach, who is going to listen to you and your goals. She's going to hear what your financial goals are, your business goals are, and they will help give you action steps to reach them. So it's important once a week to be plugging in, talking with your mentor coach. Use them more if you'd like, but they're really going to help keep you focused. And then, of course, just keeping everyone in your world updated about health challenges, about, anything exciting you're doing. If you've got events at your house, just let them know, let your world know. And then, of course, to-do lists are great. If you're just feeling like there's so much to do, just make a list and start with the simplest thing and start checking it off. And once you get in action and you get that momentum of just doing action steps, the things that seemed harder to you before are just one other thing on the list. So that's a really, really simple thing. So all these things are great action steps you can fit in just a couple minutes each day and see your business grow. But a lot of people are going to find, as a brand new coach, maybe you have some weight loss and people are asking, you might have a whole lot of interest right at the beginning, and then things might taper off a little bit. And don't let that discourage you. It's really common as a brand new coach when people are all just finding out about it. They're going to have a little more interest. And when things do start cooling off, that's when it's really important to get very intentional about these action steps, being consistent. So like Amanda said, you can become the planter and not the hunter. And over the months and years, you're going to be amazed at who starts calling you.
Yeah, I think that, Sarah, I just wanted to say too that we're talking about not getting discouraged at first. And I was one of those coaches that didn't have a weight loss story, and there weren't a lot of people noticing my weight loss. And just for me, it took me a little bit of time to kind of get over some of my own concepts about coaching. And it took me a little while to get my first clients. And I just found that plugging into my mentorship and really being consistent on those action steps of letting people know that I was serious, like I was a real health coach and I really wanted to help people, that was really, just to keep consistently on the training calls, posting on Facebook, calling people and letting them know, asking for referrals, things like that. They really added up. So anybody can do it. You don't have to have a weight loss story or anything like that. Why don't you talk about like really buckling down and making health a priority, Sarah? Yes.
This is really important to know, because sometimes you look at people and you think, oh my gosh, how do they do it? And you think, I could never do that. I've got this going on and that. But the reality is we all just have the same amount of hours in the day. And it's like when you hear clients saying, I don't have time for exercise. What they're really saying is, that's not a priority for me. They have the time, but they're choosing to use it in other ways. And it's the same for us health coaches. I don't have time to grow my business. Well, you do. You're just not making it a priority right now, which is fine. You get to decide what your priorities are. But just stop and think right now about, where does most of your time go? I have a really bad habit of doing computer games, and that holds me back from putting other things as a priority that I really should be making a priority. And so stop and think about what you're doing with your free time. Is it bringing you where you want to go? Are the things that you're doing each day bringing you to a place that you're sitting back thinking, oh, I want to be there? So once you decide that your health is a priority, it really is a lot easier to give up those habits like watching TV instead of walking, or taking the stairs instead of the elevator. But you really need to decide what your priority is, and then look at the 24 hours that God has given you and decide how you're going to move your life forward so that your priority becomes your achievement. And there's really hundreds of small decisions you can make each day that are going to support this different lifestyle goal. And Amanda, do you want to talk about those?
Sure. Yeah. So we talked about how you're making your health a priority and how that kind of translates over the same principle into making your business a priority. And really whatever's most important to you is where you're going to put your time. So if you feel like this is something that you really want to do, then you will find ways to squeeze in a call here or there, or else to block out amounts of time. I just wanted to share kind of what happened with me when I first started coaching. When I really got serious, it took me a couple of months to really feel like I got trained and that I was ready to go, and rearrange my schedule. So everybody gets to decide what their own time schedule is on when they want to go. But when I jumped in and decided I really wanted to coach, I really had to make it a priority, and I didn't feel like I had any free time. And then I started looking at myself, and I thought, I did need to cut back on my Facebook time. That was something I did a lot. And then I just got serious about putting my business above some other things that had been important to me in the past. And one of those was, as a mom of 5 kids, lots of messes in the house, I always felt like cleaning was a pretty high priority on my list. As soon as my kids were out the door to school and my youngest was in preschool, I would just start running and putting things away and doing the deep cleaning and really trying to keep my house clean. And then when I got serious about health coaching, I had to stop doing that for a little while. And instead, I ran upstairs, I got on the phone, I got my list that I had made earlier that morning and just started calling people. And my son was in preschool for about 2 hours, and I was on the phone pretty much the whole 2 hours for a couple of months when I was getting things going. And it's funny that things seemed to fall into place. My husband and my kids helped with the house a lot more, and we had to just have a few more messes that we weren't used to. But the good thing is that as my income grew, I was able to hire out a lot of work that I hadn't been able to before. I hired out all my deep cleaning. I had people come in and help me with my laundry, and a few other things like that. So even if you have to make some changes now, it might end up being a lot better in the long run if you can end up hiring things out that you don't like to do once your income starts growing. Sarah, why don't you talk about how you schedule your time to work as a professional?
Yeah, this is something that I definitely started out doing poorly. As a new health coach, I was like, oh, great, no boss, no work hours, and my business was kind of just willy-nilly. I had people calling me all hours of the day, which was okay at first, but as my business grew, and I hadn't really had anything structured, it was really becoming a problem because I felt like I always had to have my phone with me. The phone would ring during dinner. And I realized that if I wanted to have a professional business, I needed to treat it like a professional, even though I didn't have to put on hose and pumps every day. Even if it was just 30 minutes a day of professional scheduling, it was really important for me to be very intentional about my schedule so that I could tell my clients, hey, these are my hours. And I told my clients too, between 3:30 and 8:30, I am a mom, I am not available. And I got very, very clear with my clients that this was a professional business for me, and I was very happy to serve them, and these were my hours. So when you act like a professional, you don't have to worry about this filling in your life. You become much more productive with the time that you have allotted out. You're more productive on your phone calls because I need to be done with these calls in the next hour, so I'm not going to take breaks for Facebook. You're just way more productive. Your business is more fun, and you're going to grow easily. But being professional really protects your life from getting overrun by your business. You're just not going to have to worry about those kind of conflicts because you've already put out your schedule. And so that would be my advice, is just be intentional, even if it's just 30 minutes a day. Create intentional time.
Yeah, definitely. And I think one other thing I'll add is that when I really started getting to that point where I wanted to be a professional health coach, my language changed. When I talk to people, if my friends were going to do birthday lunches or something like that, I would say, well, I can do it on Monday or Friday, but on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday afternoons, I do my client calls, and I mentor my health coaches on my team. And so they started realizing what my schedule was, and that way it really, when I started letting people know that I was actually running a real business, then they started to respect that a lot more too. Yeah. We are going to have Kirtley Freckleton come on and share her story with us. For some reason, my slideshow is not advancing. Oh, there we go. So she's super cute. Do you want to tell your coaching story, Kirtley?
Is she muted? She might be muted.
There we go.
Okay. Is that good? Can you hear me now?
You're good.
Okay. So I graduated from nursing school in December 2012, and I had 3 months before I took the NCLEX to become a registered nurse. And so while I was studying, I had extra time, and I knew that I've always wanted to help people lose weight. I've had people in my life growing up that were overweight, and I could see just the mental, it just really hurt their self-esteem. So I'd always wanted to help them. So I looked online real quick and probably called 2 places, and it just kind of were dead ends. And then I called this guy, and his name was Jared, and he was like, oh, hey, I'm actually in Costa Rica right now with a bunch of people, a bunch of other health coaches. I was like, what? Who is this guy? So he told me, how about when I get back, I'll tell you a little bit more about health coaching. So we met with him, me and my husband did, and really soon after that, like maybe just a week later, I was ready to go and I became a health coach. And I've been so glad since then. I haven't found any other program that's even come close to this program, and it was so lucky that I found it so quickly. So,
Wow, thanks, Kurtley. I love how you have turned it into your profession and that you used your training to help so many people. And I know that you are helping so many people every day. Thanks for sharing that.
Mm-hmm.
We just have a few more minutes. And so we're going to talk about one more important topic in being a good coach, and that is empathetic coaching. Sorry, and I'm still having a little trouble advancing, so I'll try to, there we go. Okay. So as far as empathetic coaching, one of the best things I've ever heard Dr. A say was at a convention, and he said, don't spank your clients. And that's always stuck with me. And that just means when they do something wrong, when they mess up, when they go off plan, because everybody will, you don't get in their face and shake their finger, shake your finger in their face, even over the phone. What you want to do is let them know that it's okay, because people, especially people who have been overeaters for years, they're probably already really hard on themselves. And as coaches, we need to turn that around and help them to have a more positive outlook at food and their own body and their own self-worth and all of that. And there are a lot of ways that we can do that. And they're through empathetic coaching, just learning to listen and all of the things like that. Sarah, why don't you talk about being a hero?
Yeah.
Or not being a hero.
Yeah. Well, this is hard because naturally people who want to be health coaches are helpers. They want to help people. They want to get everyone healthy to their goal weights. And a lot of people struggle at first because not everyone is doing well. Not everyone is sticking to program every day. And it's hard for us because we're like, oh, if only you would do this. But, you think about what's better, give a man a fish or teach a man to fish. And we found that the coaches who try to be the hero really create clients who maybe are more dependent and who struggle more because we're not empowering them, you're enabling them. And so how do we help our clients without forcing this on them? We have to teach them how to find the answers themselves. And let me just read a couple sample questions for you guys. Say I'm on the phone with a client. You can't eat that. You need to exercise more. You really need to read this chapter in the book. Telling them these direct command statements versus asking them and helping them find their own questions. So here's some examples of asking. How do you think you did this week? Do you know why you didn't lose weight? What are you eating in your lean and green meal? Is that in the quick start guide? What's one thing this week that you think you can focus on? How are you feeling about being on program? What's your next exciting goal? So when we ask them these questions, then they have to come up with the answers. And it shows that we care. It shows that we're not just sitting here on top of some huge pillar shouting down saying, you're not good enough, you do this. It really brings us down. It creates a partnership with us and our clients. And you'd be surprised once you start asking your clients what they think the problems are. They know better than you. Trust me, they know better than you. And if you just try to guess and think, well, this is your problem, you might completely miss it. But if you ask your client, do you know why you didn't do well this week? Oh, well, yeah, I've been eating Rice Krispie treats every night. We couldn't have guessed that. And so empathetic coaching is giving them the power to come up with their own answers to questions. And as they get further down the road, they actually need you less and less, which again, the hero coach hates because the hero wants to have it be all them. But what we really want as coaches is our clients to have the power and the tools long term.
Yeah, thanks so much, Sarah. And we talked about this a little bit before, but I think another really important part of empathetic coaching is just banishing all of the negativity. We talked about how they're already used to all of that negative self-talk. And so when you have coaches, or if you have clients who go off plan and then just really start beating up on themselves, you can just very gently say, whoa, wait. I love one thing that Amber Smithson taught me is to say, it's just food. It's not, it's not the end of the world. It's just food. Or back up that train. We're going to start from the beginning and have, talk about this again. And, we're going to approach it from what did we do? So tell me about what happened. why do you think it happened? Was there anything in your life? And say, it's okay. It happens to everyone, and we'll just keep moving forward. And that's really the goal. This is a lifelong program, and we are going to just keep moving forward. And then always end with a positive note. Just always say, oh, so what do you want to see happen for this week? Do you want to make any strategies for implementing that goal, or implementing that plan, or shooting for that goal? Sarah, why don't you talk? Do you want to share a little bit more about your feelings on that being positive?
Yeah, and so many of the people that we work with, some people, there's no mental issues and they really just didn't know how to get the right food and they can breeze through. But most people, there's a lot of mental stuff wrapped up in their unhealthy state. And as coaches, it's our job to teach them how to start getting excited for these little victories. We call them non-scale victories, where it's not necessarily because they lost 4 pounds on the scale that week, but it's because they, were able to get their wedding ring on, or because they actually wanted to go exercising with their husband in the morning. And so coaches who are empathetic are amazing cheerleaders. You are listening, you are celebrating, and you would be amazed when you start with this. Sometimes a client will call me and they'll be all frustrated because they only lost 4 pounds. They don't know that they can celebrate that. And as a coach, it's your job to say, wait a minute, did you just say you lost 4 pounds? Because I'm freaking out over here. Why aren't you freaking out? That's amazing. Get so excited for them. And then they're going to say, oh, well, I guess that is pretty good. Huh. Okay, well, now I'm excited too. That happens all the time. Don't wait for your clients to be excited for you to get excited. You lead. You show them how amazing they are, how impressive they are, and teach them that it's okay. They can get excited. This time it's different. This time it's long-term. Get them into this healthy, positive mindset. And it's really fun for them when they finally start celebrating themselves.
And we are at the end of our time for today, but this is the last of the 4-week pre-certification conference series. And we just want you to know that we are here for you too, that we want to be the empathetic coaches for you. If you want to build this business, that we're here to cheer you on, that we know that you can do it, and we're here to help you as much or as little as you want. And for us, there's so much support in our group of coaches. It's really helped me personally to live a much healthier life, to be thinking about the principles of health, and it's given me a lot of joy just helping other people to achieve that health, to achieve their own health. And also, it's just been an amazing thing in our family's life that this extra income that coaching has provided has just really changed the whole way that our family has grown over the last few years. We've been able to give our kids a lot of opportunities that they wouldn't have otherwise. And it's taken a lot of stress away from our family's finances. So I encourage you to just move forward at any pace that you want, to connect with whoever invited you, and to jump in and start helping other people and watching those lives change. Do you want to add anything at the end, Sarah?
Yeah, I just have to echo it. I've been coaching for 2.5 years now, and it just makes my heart happy. There is no downside to this. And getting people healthy is about the most amazing work you can do. When you think about it, these are people's lives. And you work with people who maybe they would have died 20 years young if you hadn't taught them how to control their blood pressure or cholesterol or insulin. And when you actually start realizing your impact from just your little phone call once a week, it is amazing. And I know personally, for me, I've been able to overcome my binge eating. I've been able to overcome my anxiety and my depression. I'm just so full of purpose now. And it's been amazing. So definitely stay connected with us. Let us know how we can help. And let us know what you want your path to be. And then we can help you map it out. So thank you so much for being on.
Yeah, thank you everybody for being on the call.